Okay. Hi, this is Edip Yuksel. I have some students here. I will introduce them to you. And my son, two sons. One is Edip Yuksel, the other Madelynn Yuksel. They were students here. One of them now in China. He's a lawyer. He got law degree and also international mastery in law in Beijing University, and the other one is third-year student at Princeton University, and these are all great students, and they are aiming to top schools in the United States, top colleges. Which college would you like to go? What is your...
Actually, it's not a United States college, it's ideally Oxford.
Okay,
so.
you are going to shoot for Oxford. The students from these small schools have been at Princeton and MIT. Do you have Stanford?
Jessie,
Stanford and Columbia and all these Ivy schools. A small school, but one of the top schools in the United States. Now let's introduce each other. We are going to talk about politics, American politics, which is very colorful now, correct? And the purpose is to show that American kids can discuss, debate, the most extreme positions like Donald Trump, and Bernie. Okay, and these are really the most extreme that you can get. One is communist, almost communist, socialist, social democracy. The other is
something
cannot be defined yet, undefined. And you will see that they are going to discuss without fighting each other, without punching each other, without killing each other. We'll survive. Okay, introduce yourself, please.
I'm Christina Marikos. I'm an 11th grader and I'm 17 years old.
What else? What food do you like?
What food do
Fruit.
You
were not ready for this, correct?
No.
It's such a serious political debate. What's your favorite movie?
Dogtooth.
Okay. At least get a little bit information, a little bit specific information about your character.
Okay, my character. Bananas are great and so are avocados.
Lovely. And what is your passion and interest?
I actually am very interested in death culture and death rituals. Don't give me that look.
Gosh, I would never expect this. You need to sometimes come to me. Don't forget about me. Right? Okay, lovely. Now, I ask my students at college, when I teach philosophy, the first hour introduction to get to know each other, I say, modern things tell us what is not expected from you. If someone meets you that does not expect that you have that kind of hobby and phobia. And that's really something I wouldn't expect. Great. And you will come back again.
Hello, my name is Madelynn. I am also an 11th grader. I'm turning 17 this Sunday, so almost 17. And any specific questions?
Well, were you in debate team?
Yes.
You were in debate team? What was the topic?
We go through different topics each 2 months, but right now our topic is, should we prohibit the use of nuclear energy?
Oh, lovely. I wish I was there. Yeah. And what was the previous topics? Any other topics that you did?
On balance, economic globalization ought to...
promotes...
worldwide poverty reduction.
Oh, very cynical.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your interest area? First of all, you are taking AP classes, advanced placement. What class you are taking? I know we are going to talk about politics. This preparation.
I'm studying for 7 APs right now, so I'm studying for chemistry and statistics and comparative government and literature, which I have classes for, and then I'm self-studying psychology, human geography, and I'm doing a 2D art design.
Wow, impressive. And do you have any AP classes I've taken?
Yeah, originally I was absurd and I decided to take 8, but then I controlled myself, and so I'm only taking 2, and that would be comparative politics, just because I adore politics, and literature
Lovely.
because I read it in my free time.
Okay. Great. And your name was Madelynn, and your name Christina, Marikos, Madelynn, what last name? Anderson. And this gentleman?
Andrew, Roundhouse. I'm 15 in 10th grade.
And what else? Are you vanilla flavor student, or do you have some idiosyncrasies? Person that different than all other billions of people.
No.
Okay. Well, we know. I bet that you have so much idiosyncrasies, uniqueness. And Jessie, she doesn't want to show up. Just focus on her face. She is my son's friend, very old friend since elementary school. Oh, hold on. Don't mess it
We're not
up.
going.
Okay, well, I know. This is a little bit... Okay, Jessie, tell us about yourself. I know you were not part of the debate, but live, correct? There are black swans all over.
Yes.
And tell me about yourself.
Hello, I'm Jessie. I'm Jessica Sang. I'm a senior. I'm probably going to attend Stanford University.
Stanford University. Your sister, Monica, where is she?
She's going to Princeton.
And what year is she in right now?
Junior.
Studying?
Ecology and evolutionary biology.
Beautiful. What is your area of interest?
I like international diplomacy, international law, and science.
Oof. Then we'll be together for life. Why Bernie Sanders?
Well, I think he represents the millennial ideas best. Of course, I can't speak for all millennials, and he's most socially liberal and economically liberal, and those are just the qualities I align myself with. So.
What qualities? Why do you think she likes Bernie Sanders? You are Trump guy,
Or
right?
just any Republican, really.
Oh, you are just against Democrats.
Yeah, I guess.
Any Republican.
I,
Even the crazy one. Doesn't matter, correct? Very interesting. And tell me, why Bernie Sanders?
Personally, I would align myself with the Democratic Party in general, just because I agree with them on a lot of socio and political issues. But the reason why I prefer Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton is mostly involving foreign policy. And
What is his foreign policy? Last night, first time, I have been here for 7 years. First time I see a leading political figure on a mainstream media has the courage to criticize Israel. That's, to me, it was a new. Because Israel recently, about 2 years ago, attacked Gaza, killed, he says 1,500. The number I know, it was 2,000. 500 of them were children, schools, hospitals attacked. Israel lost only three people that time, 3. 1, 2, 3. Versus 2,000 Palestinians, 500 children. And 2 of these Israel lost, they were soldiers. And the American President, Obama, who got Peace Prize, and all other senators, they sent their condolences to whom? Not the children, 500 children, to 2 soldiers. Unbelievable. To me, it is just no conscience. And
see, that's the thing. I think he, although doesn't appear as well versed in the debates when it comes to foreign policy, I think there are certain elements about his foreign policy, like he acknowledges certain nuances, you know, and he doesn't just go along with the status quo American politics, where, you know, we glorify things like Israel, even though they do make terrible policy decisions, and you need to acknowledge that and criticize that as well, which I enjoy. And also, I feel that in regards to foreign policy, you know, people say he's not hard enough, but I think that's also what's really nice about him, because, as you know, he peacefully abstained from the draft for political reasons, and, you know, although that doesn't demonstrate necessarily, you know, will to fight for the country no matter what, it does demonstrate a certain amount of knowledge on the topic, because he knew that the war itself was unnecessary and was going to cause more harm than it was really worth.
Yeah, what do you think about this foreign policy business? For example, we have recently in your lifetime 2 invasions, at least 2 invasions, and we have many drones, bombings, people, a lot of also civilians are killed in the meantime. And Afghanistan was invaded by United States, before it was Russia, and we end up with Al-Qaeda and Taliban. And then Iraq, we end up with ISIS and intervention with Syria too. And you know, I look at the cause and effect. There is a cause-effect relationship. And we say Hamas, well, the occupations. We see 3 occupations and 3 groups we are complaining, but the word terrorism somehow we always use for a gang, small groups, that killed much less than the states, and which they are caused by the states themselves.
Yeah.
And tell me about that. And it's your turn, you can interrupt anytime.
Well, first of all, on Bernie Sanders' foreign policy, I think he has a really great learning curve. So during the summer, he actually removed a pro-Palestine protester off his stage, but since then he's apologized for doing so, and he's switched his views radically on some things because he's educated himself. He takes that move to educate himself. He's very against the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, and he doesn't support the use of drones, which I think is noble because I don't have the exact statistic, but drones kill many more civilians than they do people we want to kill, and I, as a pacifist, don't think we should be.
And it terrorized the entire nation.
Yeah.
Imagine drones around it, they are looking for some terrorists in the United States.
There was the iconic quote that was
Yeah.
circulating around for a while about the one kid who said he prefers cloudy skies as opposed to blue skies.
He
Yeah.
spoke to the
Yeah.
Senate,
Yeah.
Very interesting. Now, by the way, as a note, I am not against Israel people being there safe. Absolutely not. And
Yeah, but I think we do need to acknowledge that people
Absolutely.
make certain decisions
occupation,
as a state.
absolutely.
and
But
that-
this state has been racist and very
Yeah.
aggressive. They killed. There is a website, ifamericans.org. I really highly recommend anyone there. Ifamericans.org and or Jewish Voice for Peace. Especially if americansnew.org, you will see the numbers and graphics, how many Palestinians killed, how many Israelis killed, how many Palestinians are kidnapped or imprisoned by Israelis, and the numbers are huge. The number of houses being demolished by Israel and the land being taken since 1948 is impressive. It's just, look at the numbers and graphs, you see what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the also source of incubating terrorists, people who hate because they see what's going on there, the injustice, and we are bystander. Anyway, let's come to domestic policy if you are interested. Tell us why you like Donald Trump.
Because I agree with some of his stances.
For example, he says, let's kill the children of terrorists. You like that?
No.
Yeah, say 5-year-old kid. He is the son of terrorists. Let's kill him. Well, he's saying that. Not okay. What you like it about him?
I don't like abortion.
Oh, you don't like abortion. Do you think they like abortion? Do you like abortion?
I don't like it, but I do believe in a woman's right to choose.
Or, anyone
Yeah.
the ability to reproduce should have the ability not to reproduce.
Okay, abortion is one of the things about Trump, but Trump really is not really very an anti-abortion fan. He used to be the other way around. He switched his position several times, correct? And you are against abortion, and they are against too, but they say if woman, let's say, got pregnant, doesn't want to have baby, do you think that unwanted baby, if it is born, is better for the world, not wanted, or maybe the cause by rape or other circumstances?
I think that, well, in rape and incest is a very few percentage of abortions, and just, I don't want these innocent babies to be killed.
Good. Are you for big government or small government?
Small.
But when it comes to woman's womb, you want the government to go check whoever have babies, whether private rooms, let's check whether they are having bad relationship, those kind of things. You want government to be very big in that area, correct? I guess. That's interesting. Okay. Lovely. Go discuss. I should be out of it. Okay. We are talking about Sanders. Sanders talk about what?
Economic equality.
Economic. What is his main point he's raising? What he's talking about?
You know, he's got the catchphrases, we are the 99%. You know, there's a very high level of concentration of wealth within the United States. And
1/10 of 1%
yes. Yeah.
have the wealth of about 19% of the population.
Yeah.
Very good. And what else? Healthcare system.
Healthcare system, yeah, he's looking for single payer healthcare, which.
And what else? Healthcare system.
Healthcare system, yeah, he's looking for single payer healthcare, which I think is really important because I don't think that the healthcare system in the United States can be fully reformed until we get rid of the insurance companies. And so, you know, Hillary is just looking for reforming the current policy, whereas Sanders is, you know, single payer health.
But you look too serious for, well, how old are you?
I'm 16.
16! She is more serious than I am on this issue. Lovely. And what about you? No, be yourself. Go ahead.
I don't think that the universal free healthcare should be a thing.
Why?
Because it's not your right to get free healthcare, you should have to pay for that.
What about your counter-argument?
Do you recognize the the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights?
Say, I don't care.
I don't care.
What? Great. But can I come back, help you guys a little bit? But he's one trumpet. That's too bad if I bunch up three of us against him.
It's really horrendous.
We need to have stronger, but
Yeah.
what if we say, someone says, a Sanders guy or a democratic socialist, we have free security, we don't as citizen hire your own soldiers, correct? And we have free streets. We don't pay, build your own streets over there in front of your house, correct? Even free education. And why those things could be free, why health, as important as they are, why health should not be common as a moral society. We are together in this boat called United States of America. If one gets really sick, your neighbor, we should be helping and make a government share it. It's better distribution. But other stuff could be still free. You can still have your luxury car to show off, but come on, you don't want the neighbor get killed while you want to drive, let's say, Mercedes, golden-plated Mercedes. Give up from golden plate, give tax, and if you are part of the society, correct? Because usually, if there is a war, the children of that poor person will go fight for you. Usually the children of the rich, perhaps you are not one of them, they don't go to the war, they don't take risks, they are the suckers. I cannot be moderator, correct?
You're
I'm too biased, huh? That's sad. I wish Trump was here. Anyway, go ahead. I will defend him. I'm going to defend him right now.
Yes.
Should I support your position?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's not good. I need to really think. We say, well, if some things are free because there is no way to accommodate that independently. For example, if everyone we expect, everyone built the street in front of, put asphalt in front of their homes, some people will make it really good asphalt, even high. Some people will make it low. Some people will not touch it. Some people will have a lot of potholes there. Some people will be creative. They put like nails there, correct? The artist. And we will not have really street that we can travel. Therefore, it is the necessity that will lead us to have that.
I thought you were defending him.
I'm defending him. for streets. Therefore, we need to have free streets for everyone, because if we allow to everyone take care of in front of their homes and business, we'll not be able to have free, smooth street that accommodate the travel, correct? Transportation, because some people will not be able, even if one person does not take care of it, have a big hole there, the whole street will not serve anyone, correct? Therefore, we need to have public streets. But for healthcare, if someone dies, you don't die with that person, correct? Your life, your health is not dependent like streets to that person's life. Therefore, that's different. You can distinguish this way. You can say, well, if we could have streets without public funding, we would have it that one private too. But we cannot do that, therefore. But health, I care less about my neighbor dying. The kids is dying of, let's say, not having enough vitamins. Who cares? I will golden plate my car, correct? And
You really didn't do a very good job of supporting him. Now he sounds like a greedy bastard. maybe even a psychopath. I don't know.
okay, no, that's so sad. Where's the other?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he maybe just decided he didn't want to talk.
Jesse,
about
come help him out.
Come up. Oh,
Come help the Trump guy.
Well,
I'll go help the Republic.
Yeah. I think your mom will love it.
But I don't support
Come on. Okay, sit down there.
So we're gonna play some devil's advocate.
What else about?
debate.
I guess.
That means you don't like health to be public. Everyone, but what the Sanders says?
I think
The
we can't have a
Sanders.
monopolization of the right to live and prosper just in the hands of the rich. I think it is everyone's right to live and prosper, and it is everyone's right to be healthy. If we all are humans sharing this experience together, we should all care about one another. That's kind of cheesy, but like...
I love cheese.
Okay,
Don't
well,
you?
I would...
Say I love cheese too.
love cheese.
Okay, now
Alright,
at
so
least
non-
we have an agreement.
My non-cheesy argument would be the social contract, which is that, you know, we as citizens expect to be taken care of to a certain degree by our government, and if our government is letting a large amount of people die off just because they don't have enough money, then the government clearly isn't doing their job, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we all agree upon the social contract because we're all citizens living within the society. Our disagreement is just on the extent to which the social contract protects our rights.
Look at here, look at the camera. Okay, great. And I like the social contract theory. Was it Locke or Hobbes?
Both.
Both?
They just did different
And
versions of it.
Rousseau.
And Rousseau.
Okay, and but I would say the social contract, besides that, there is also economic reason. We spend much more money on this so-called private healthcare and get less healthier people.
Yeah, no, and it's really
One
absurd
third
that-
of it they are spending over there, everyone universal. If are concerned about economy, correct, and they are doing better. And if you have healthy citizens, and you will have better
you
neighbors
have
and
higher
less crimes.
capitalist productivity.
Exactly.
Assuming that's what we want.
And what else? What are the topics about? You don't want to be have health care. Let's say you don't have money, you are sick, a simple medication or simple intervention will prevent you from being really terminally ill. And why you should care about my mansion? Why you should care about my golden-plated Mercedes? Why you are going to lose your life? Is it worth it, this ideology of let the rich be richer? What do you think? Why we are allowing this much kind of difference in distribution of wealth? Why people cannot afford to have primary health care, the others can afford to have billions, yachts, and private jets, correct? What else they have? Throwing pies on each other's faces, correct? That's even simple. They do even much worse, correct?
Personal tennis
Huh.
courts.
Why? Why we should? Why you care about them? I care about. I will not care about that rich, filthy rich person's life if my life is at risk. I'm in this society, and I'm going to die, and I don't have even job, or my job is not enough for me. Why I care about his so-called high capitalism is a great system? Why I should care? I should not care.
Can't you just flip that argument around though?
Go ahead. Flip it.
No, I'm just wondering if you're saying that why should you care about them then if you're wanting their money to help out everybody else? I mean,
The assumption is it is their money. They really earned it. This guy, while sitting there over there, just throwing numbers there, inherited some money and dealt with it. And meanwhile, people are working in construction, hard working.
Yeah.
And some engineers smarter than him doing all the calculation. They get a fraction of what he's earning. The rest of it he's getting more. Why we have a system awards some people, few people, much more than the other. We have walls like this. We let only one person win, like in a Survivor game. Many people compete. You know, these games also subconsciously promote capitalism, wild capitalism. You know, you cannot win all, or most of you cannot win. Or maybe you win, let's say, 100, the other 50, the other 20, but everyone wins. No, one will win all, the rest will all lose, correct?
I mean, there's, oh God, I'm playing devil's advocate here
Yeah,
just because you
I was
guys really
going
need
to.
some help. Okay, I just reread Ayn Rand, and she's a capitalist. And
Atlas shrugged.
yes, disgusting.
Oh,
I mean, I love it. It's wonderful. Ayn Rand, she's wonderful. But in Atlas Shrugged, the major argument seemed to be this idea of existentialism, actually, where people are like, oh yes, you know, if I go out of my way and build up this empire of my own, even though I've inherited wealth, you know, I should be able to do this, and, you know, and it's the idea that the government is just another corrupt figurehead that's going to replace the rich millionaires who worked for their money, and here the government is just writing bills and stealing all of our cash, and it's not actually going to the citizens are staying poor, except for now even the capitalists are poor, and the new political elite is the government figures. I think that's like the scary story that capitalists like telling. I mean, that's the truth.
I think that book is very influential. I have heard many people, they were very kind of influenced
Yeah,
by
no, that book was taught in American school systems, you know, throughout the years, and I feel like is a very important mental element in a lot of people's beliefs and
Psyche.
politics. Yeah.
And what is your take on that? What is your criticism against that book? Madelynn, what do you think? What's wrong with it?
Mostly, I have to say it's a little fear-mongering, you know, and it's presumptuous as hell. And it's this idea that, you know, with an increased socialist state, people are going to stay the same, only the ruling elite is going to change. But, you know, maybe I'm an optimist or an idealist, but I believe that one done correctly, and I think if we look at certain examples within society today, you know, maybe Ayn Rand didn't have a lot of great examples on her hands at the time, but, you know, if we look today, we have really well-functioning socialist democratic countries, which demonstrate when you try and divide this money, it isn't corrupt, and it isn't just switching the power, it's making the system better for everyone, which I think is the goal, and I think that, you know, that's where Ayn Rand went wrong.
Any other things that you would like to talk about this?
yeah, there's something. So, like, a couple minutes ago you were talking about, like, the hard laborers and they're working hard and whatever. So, can we just, like, talk about, like, the educational system? This is going to be really bad because I'm, like, this is the point I'm going to agree with you guys on. But, maybe about how, like, college and everything perpetuates this cycle of inequality.
How?
It's in the way of, now we're establishing a new social hierarchy.
Exactly.
Where, you know, it's not just rich and poor or ethnicity, but we're adding another one to it too, which is educated and uneducated. And automatically, if you're uneducated or decide to drop out of high school, you're valued less as a human being.
I think a lot of Trump's supporters, they are the one who feel left behind. They are kind of factory workers, manual workers, and they may not have a top college education.
Yeah,
And these jobs are sucked out by China and Mexico, correct?
But at the
And-
same time, those people who want college educations could also support Bernie Sanders because he is promising free education.
But that would cost a ton of money.
Yeah, and we did say education is a universal right now. Do you agree with that? Okay, so if college has become this new part of the social hierarchy, why did we make education a universal right in the first place?
Well, college is just a business nowadays. I'll say that. That's all.
It's not all for-profit schools.
Then
But-
why would they charge anything in the first place? Like you just said.
They have to maintain their,
I don't. Well,
yeah,
I'm
it's,
kind of
they do charge ludicrous amounts of money, and I think we should try and stop that as much as possible.
There is a lot of money going to the top few, 1%. And there's something wrong with that. While you are struggling day and night, and the family also is under a lot of pressure. When two people work, they cannot make the end meet. People become very stressed. And a lot of problem with the society. And a lot of crimes also related to poverty. People who are in poverty, they do not get education or care, preventive, correct? And they end up in prison. We have the highest prison population in the
A
world
fourth of the
in
world's
two
prison
ways.
population.
The sheer number of the prisoners or the proportion to the population. And we brag about being the freest country in the world. Freedom, more prisoner. There's something wrong, correct? I have a very good article at my 19.org site. It is about jury reached verdict. We are the guilty. It is a beautiful, I was a member of jury once, and it was a case about a guy who was arrested for having drug in a public restroom. And he was over there, we were trying, 50 people left their job, voir dire, jury selection, and the court filled with police, witnesses, clerk, judge, attorney, prosecutor, all over. We were all over on this guy, his whole crime, poisoning himself. We didn't care about him when he was starving, when he was sick, when he needed anything, but we find a way to punish him and then put him in prison. But much bigger crimes committed in this country, who cares?
Which is actually my biggest criticism against Bernie Sanders, and it's probably because I'm such a goddamn liberal. I don't think he's liberal enough.
I love it!
Yeah, I disagree with his policy on drugs. I am actually for the legalization of all drugs, just because I think it'll be the best way to reduce addiction, and then also even the people who continue to stay addicted can have safer access to drugs, and we would have lower deaths.
I think, yeah, I do agree with you. I am a teetotaler, means never drank alcohol, never drunk, never drug, never smoking, but I am for legalization, because criminalization of such a thing, just let it go under the ground, and bigger, you only close your eyes to it and punish those people. Am I talking too much? Stop me.
No,
Then you talk.
I'm just.
No, I know I'm talking too much. I should not be. Go ahead, Christina.
Well, we always debate about like social issues, and I think Bernie Sanders and the Democratic Party in general, their thing is that they're liberal on social issues. Why do you disagree with that?
Like what?
Well, yes, abortion, I have respect for that. You care about little zygotes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, little egg and stuff. That's good, because really we don't have definition of life except the categorical thing happening event is the sperm fertilizing the egg that time. After that, it is a matter of quantity, not qualitative point that we say this is life. But there is one inside the belly attached to mother. We can say, well, this belongs to mother, not the society. Maybe. Yeah, that is another thing. But I think it is respectful, you care about, but you want to impose another person. When do you think life starts? when abortion should be forbidden? First day, first hour?
Well,
or
like
one
stuff
week?
like the morning after pill, is that what it's called? I think that is maybe okay.
Okay.
It is a very morally gray sort of thing.
But I'd say after that, I think it's too late.
What about you? Do you think
It's kind of a blurred line though.
mother is pregnant, 8 months pregnant, baby is just 1 month, 10 days left, she wants to go have abortion, almost complete. What do you think?
No, I
If
think
it's viable?
there ought to be a limit as to when you can get it, but you know, it wouldn't be, you know, I definitely wouldn't stop at a day after pill. It would probably be somewhere further along the term. What's the general like?
First or second trimester is generally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Supreme Court, I think,
In the second trimester.
I think that's
Supreme Court decided on first trimester, after the first trimester.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
was the Roe versus Wade decision, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, me, I came up with the 86 days, by the way. I have even an article on that. Have you heard about that?
No.
86 days? Very interesting. Okay.
Well, I think we actually exclude some people when we say women have the right to choose. I made this mistake myself earlier, but I think we're excluding trans people, and trans people in America have really underrepresented rights right now. So, not just women, your biology does not define your gender, and not just women can have children, so by saying women have the right to choose, we exclude trans people from the argument.
Tell me that you disagree. What is this trans homosexual stuff that they force on us, they want us to accept all this immorality?
I don't agree with it
Okay, that's good.
Why do you not agree?
because if you have a thing, you're a guy.
That is very.
Yeah, that's... Okay.
Whatever you were at birth is what you are.
Why?
The definition of man and woman, it is both physiological and also some chemical and biological. For example, it's not all what you see. There are certain things you don't see, hormones, that also affects the certain things. Therefore, in the past it was easy to describe what's man and woman. And then when we look at it, yes, still you are right. When you look at it, but there are some people, they have hormonal imbalance and they are confused, their body is confused. And it's confused, correct? It's confusion of body. Basically, biology doesn't fit the hormones.
I wouldn't exactly
You don't like
say
that, right? It's not politically correct. Tell me.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's confusion, because confusion denotes this kind of societal perspective. That
She
people
is
don't
so
have.
impressive. She knows all these points. Lovely.
There's actually
Okay.
a movement that you can choose to be trans, that transness is based not just on dysphoria, which would be your confusion. So dysphoria comes from the hormonal imbalance that you're talking about. Dysphoria is the feeling of discomfort within your own body, but transness can also come from euphoria. So you feel good as another gender, you feel more right as another gender than what you were assigned as at birth. There's not just a confusion or a dysphoria that results in transness.
Or even sexuality.
So then how many genders are there?
Gender is a
It's a
spectrum.
rainbow.
It's like spectrum of light. It is all.
It is. Why is it crazy?
The rainbow. Rainbow is my flag, you know. It's the natural flag. In fact, I describe myself in a picture about myself, and then my religion is peacemaking, and my flag is rainbow. People think I'm homosexual. No, it exists even before humans were here, correct? Rainbow is a good color. But I think that we agree that whether we disagree about people's preferences, choice, or whether they are short or tall or bald, ugly or not, they have the right to be ugly, correct? They have the right to be homosexual. It's up to them, correct? But they should not make me say, Edip, it is good to be homosexual. No. For example, I would say, no, come on. Why? To me, it is good to be straight, heterosexual, correct? Do you agree with this
Yeah,
position?
yeah.
I'm just trying to
Well,
voice your...
I don't I don't have anything against them, I just don't support them. Like, they can do whatever they want.
But don't expect me to promote.
No, I'm
Okay.
not gonna promote that.
Okay.
No propaganda here.
Okay.
Anyway, it's really unfortunate, but I think we're running out of time.
Okay, few more minutes. What other subjects we have that contentious between Trump people and Sanders
Black
people?
Lives
Forget
Matter.
about that.
Oh,
About
yeah, that's-
social democrats and
Very
fascists.
definitely
Are you
should
fascists?
Oh, no.
I think we need to
No.
discuss
No
Black
party.
Lives Matter.
Huh?
I think we really need to discuss Black Lives Matter and
Okay, what
police
about that?
brutality.
Yes, yes.
That there's still a huge race problem in America, and we need to address that by not acknowledging racial issues. We're perpetuating them. By not acknowledging white privilege, we're perpetuating discrimination. The police brutality rate in this country is incredibly high, and Black Lives Matter movement is an incredibly valid movement, but the government is actually tracking it as a sort of terrorist cell, which is unbelievable.
The source. We have to always look why black people are more prone to become robbers, correct stuff, the proportion maybe than white people. If
I don't know
proportion.
if that proportion is even true.
Or
It's
drug
just that-
users or whatever. That
It's
could
just
be.
that black people are policed more heavily than white people are. It's not even necessarily
Black
that.
bodies are criminalized and they are violently attacked by the state.
Also, I would not be surprised if more black people in neighborhood criminal, they involve more in crimes and stuff, according to the population. The same happens with all minorities that throughout history, if they are discriminated against, and because they are impoverished mostly, they don't inherit wealth and connection and intellectual stuff that the wealthy people, I mean
I think-
academics.
I think that what you're looking at in a very interesting way would be institutionalized racism, and it's this notion that,
Beautiful. You know all these concepts. Great. Institutional. Yeah, it
it's
is.
this, it started, well before the establishment of slavery, but the establishment of slavery in the United States was really a great predecessor for a lot of the problems that we're looking at today.
Exactly. It continues. If you are a white kid, you are raised in a middle class neighborhood with good schools, with good environment, and college-educated parents or uncles, you are more advantageous than someone who is born from slaves. Let's say slaves is freed, but it really continues. Therefore, they need affirmative, really more than affirmative action to help people who are really the grandchildren of the slaves or discriminated against. And similar things happening in Turkey about Kurdish people too. Mm-hmm. They have similar problem with the majority. And majority becomes very insensitive. They think, well, it is equal, we are equal. No, it is not really equal because there is historical, very important background.
It's harder to see discrimination when you're not being discriminated against.
Yes. Anything else, Laz? What else? And what do you want to be when you grow up? You are already grown, I don't know.
Be in the military.
Military, and you are going to kill the children of the poor people in other countries? For whom? For what? For defending this country, but you are not fighting here for your country. You are going to go far away, miles, thousands of miles away, bombing other people. Goodness sake.
Well, you have to show respect for them.
For whom?
The military, they are the ones executing it, but they're just being told what to do.
And why do you want to be told by
By the
me
government.
to go kill this
It's
person?
telling them to do this.
I know.
They're not willingly going over there and killing little babies.
You're right. Yeah, I think that I'm not accusing the people in military. Most of them, they like their country stuff. But unfortunately, politicians make decisions sometimes just to distract people, to make people gung-ho, to create a sense of unity, or they become heroes, correct? Or make money for the military industrial complex, correct? Have you heard about that?
The military.
Can you tell us about the military industrial complex? Which president warned us against that?
Oh God, I don't know.
which president, his last day, he warned the nation against military-industrial complex? It was Eisenhower.
Oh.
Listen to that one, it's really prophetic. And he warned, it says, they got very big, it is a bloody machine, they will self-perpetuate in order to last, basically, they need war. They will create wars. Okay? So,
I need to go.
Yeah.
I need to go
It's after.
too. Okay, bye. It was very serious, more serious than I expected. Thank you very much.
All of this like social reform and it may actually do worse and like perpetuate the cycle.
But
and
not
actually
doing
hide
anything
it.
would be even worse.
Well, no, I agree with you. Like something needs to be done, but there's going to be potentially some problems with that. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're saying, like, minor reforms do definitely cover up the fact that we have underlying issues. So, like, affirmative action covers up the fact that we still have underlying racial inequality in this country. But I think just sitting and not doing anything would be
Which is
even worse.
not what I'm advocating.
What are you
for.
advocating for?
No, I was just bouncing that idea off of you.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like-
I mean, token effort does kind of cover up. I think we need to go full on reform if we are going to reform.
Do you think like Sanders, for example, his policy does do that total reform?
Well, I don't know what total reform would be because I can't speak as a black person in this country.
No, not for that issue, but for the
For what?
wealth inequality.
For
points
wealth
out-
inequality.
That's the point that I was bringing
Well, it
up.
does totally reform our economic system. Social democracy or socialist democracy is totally different than what we have right now. I mean, it's not totally different. It still allows for individual ownership and stuff and individual production, but it makes things a lot safer for citizens who are born poor.
I'm not sure like how much I know actually about this, but say for example like China's shift from like total like socialist to
Well, China's communist.
Yeah, communist. My bad, but like they had socialist policies a little bit.
Yeah, well, the problem with China is it's not a democratic regime, it's an authoritarian regime.
Yeah, I know.
So the people weren't actually getting to vote on what policies were enacted and whatnot.
And corrupt too. They
Yeah.
become very corrupt too.
In authoritarian governments, corruption is not uncommon, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not. Oh, and then like also with I think Madelynn was talking about it earlier, but just like how we were talking about the stereotypes associated with like certain minorities and why the Black Lives Matter movement is so important is because like, say for example like, have you ever read the book Bringing Down the House?
Mm-mm.
It's about the MIT students with the poker. I think the movie like 21 is based on it.
Hmm.
But just like in general how we need this movement because society has placed this sort of image on black people, for example. So like, even though I'm a minority and I have certain stereotypes attached to me, like when I'm walking down the street, if like people will never feel like I'm a threat to them so much as like if I were going to be like a young black male or
Yeah.
like of Middle Eastern descent and stuff. And I think that's another reason that's very
Yeah, we've
important.
criminalized and placed this stereotype on people of certain minorities because there are higher rates of policing. So you can say, oh, look at those statistics. They're statistically more likely to commit crimes, but it's just because of higher criminalization, higher policing on black bodies and Middle Eastern bodies and stuff like that.
Same, and that's what we were talking about with like the prison, with his
Yeah.
with his prison policies.
Yeah, I think the war on drugs has a lot to do with this.
Definitely, we talked about that with like marijuana, especially. The
Mhm.
rates for arrests are much higher, and all that stuff.
Yeah, the rates of arrest in minority communities are much higher for
Exactly.
drug crimes.
Good stuff.
Whose water is this?
I have no idea.
Okay. And
Do you want to drink it?
say something about Mateen.
Mateen?
Uh-huh. Just this is out of nowhere.
Oh, he's a great person.
That's it? Like
I
make
love
America
Mateen.
great again. This was it. And everything were hi.
Yes.
Okay. Hi David.
Like you're having fun.
We had a very good debate, David.
Oh, good. So are you coming with us to Mexico or Lake Powell?
I would like to, let me turn it off.
All of this like social reform, and it may actually do worse and like perpetuate the cycle.
But
and
not
actually
doing
hide
anything would be even worse.
Well, no, I agree with you. Like something needs to be done, but there's going to be potentially some problems with that. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're saying, like, minor reforms do definitely cover up the fact that we have underlying issues. So, like, affirmative action covers up the fact that we still have underlying racial inequality in this country. But I think just sitting and not doing anything would be
Which is
worse.
not what I'm advocating.
What are you
for.
advocating for?
No, I was just bouncing that idea off of you.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like-
I mean, token effort does kind of cover up. I think we need to go full on reform if we are going to reform.
Do you think like Sanders, for example, his policy does do that total reform?
Well, I don't know what total reform would be because I can't speak as a black person in this country.
No, not for that issue, but for the
what?
wealth inequality.
For
point
wealth
that-
inequality.
That's the point that I was bringing
Well, it
up.
does totally reform our economic system. Social democracy or socialist democracy is totally different than what we have right now. I mean, it's not totally different. It still allows for individual ownership and stuff and individual production, but it makes things a lot safer for citizens who are born poor.
I'm not sure like how much I know about this, but say for example like China's shift from like total like socialist to
Well, China's communist.
Yeah, communist. My bad, but like they had socialist policies a little bit.
Yeah, well, the problem with China is it's not a democratic regime, it's an authoritarian regime.
Yeah, I know.
So the people weren't actually getting to vote on what policies were enacted and whatnot.
And corrupt too. They
Yeah.
become very corrupt too.
In authoritarian governments, corruption is not uncommon, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not. Oh, and then like also with I think Madelynn was talking about it earlier, but just like how we were talking about the stereotypes associated with like certain minorities and why the Black Lives Matter movement is so important is because like, say for example like, have you ever read the book Bringing Down the House?
Mm-mm.
It's about the MIT students with the poker. I think the movie like 21 is based on it.
Hmm.
But just like in general how we need this movement because society has placed this sort of image on black people, for example. So like, even though I'm a minority and I have certain stereotypes attached to me, like when I'm walking down the street, if like people will never feel like I'm a threat to them so much as like if I were going to be like a young black male or
Yeah.
like of Middle Eastern descent and stuff. And I think that's another reason that's very
Yeah, we've
important.
criminalized and placed this stereotype on people of certain minorities because there are higher rates of policing. So you can say, oh, look at those statistics. They're statistically more likely to commit crimes, but it's just because of higher criminalization, higher policing on black bodies and Middle Eastern bodies and stuff like that.
Same, and that's what we were talking about with like the prison, with his
Yeah.
with his prison policies.
Yeah, I think the war on drugs has a lot to do with this.
Definitely, we talked about that with like marijuana, especially. The
Mhm.
rates for arrests are much higher, and all that stuff.
Yeah, the rates of arrest in minority communities are much higher for
Exactly.
drug crimes.
Good stuff.
Whose water is this?
I have no idea.
Okay. And
Do you want to drink it?
say something about Mateen.
Mateen?
Uh-huh. Just this is out of nowhere.
Oh, he's a great person.
That's it? Like
I
make
love
America
Mateen.
great again. This was it. And everything were hi.
Yes.
Okay. Hi David.
You look like you're having fun.
We had a very good debate, David.
Oh, good. So are you coming with us to Mexico or Lake Powell?
I would like to. Let me turn it off. Okay. David is, should I say principal?
You
David
can say
Jones.
Principal something.
Yes.
But
You made a comment about Madelynn, who was here, the other student.
well, I can say that about this one.
Okay. What is the description of their political position?
You mean a Marxist existentialist?
Yes, Marxist existentialist. I think really.
This one is what would we call this? You're along that line, right? Humanitarian, added in there.
Okay. Is Madelynn just not humanitarian?
No. Humanity she does not believe in. I believe that you believe in humanity, right?
Perhaps.
Of course, I stretched the meaning of humanitarian.
I did say some very cheesy things, so along the lines of the spirit of brotherhood.
Yes, the spirit of brotherhood.
Not motherhood.
No, it's in the
It's the
Declaration
joke
of Human Rights.
The Declaration of Human Rights.
Two, I'm hearing you, brotherhood.
No, it's the first article
Yeah,
of the
it's a
Declaration
funny
of Human
thing.
Rights.
I know,
The
but
spirit of brotherhood.
We actually
brother.
talked about the
Yes,
gender
brother.
spectrum.
Yes, brother.
Yes. No.
That's the primary sex, right?
We talked
Gender?
about the gender spectrum
the gender
actually,
spectrum.
so there isn't just two genders.
No binary.
We don't have.
no.
We don't have strong.
There are two genders.
No,
How many are there?
it's a spectrum,
A spectrum.
and it's not based on your biology.
It's not based on your gender. Is not based on biology,
It is based on your dreams and nightmares.
and it's not not based on your DNA.
I am laughing
right?
and shaking this
You
one.
know,
DNA does
It's
have
based on your preference.
we should have had the argument about trans rights and prostitution.
Yeah.
That's another debate you should come back for.
Oh my God. Okay.
You mean men and women are not equivalent. It is determined, superiority is dependent on one's preference.
Absolutely not. Not superiority.
Subordinates or dominance?
You're talking about gender roles.
Oh, and that's preference. I know, I'm just trying to understand
Gender
this.
roles are enforced by society.
What I'd like to do is remind the two of you that you're female.
Very well.
Are you telling me you'd rather be male?
We did not say that.
You would be female physically and male.
There's stuff in between too. You can be
Career
non-binary.
Like binary?
not
Now you're
binary.
binary?
Not.
Non-binary. So binary is the genders, male and female is what we believe as binary, and non-binary suggests that
Analog.
there's stuff in between.
David, it is beyond
What
me.
happened to humanity?
David.
I'm very confused.
Yeah, I'm confused too. And okay, we can have a very interesting discussion on this subject. I love talking with these kids.
You know,
They're
I don't
fantastic.
believe anything I'm saying, I never do. We just try it on
I know.
and wear it for a little while. And if you start taking my coat on and I start taking it off and putting on yours,
That's a good idea. Coats go out of fashion quickly.
now you're worried about fashion? Is that also a choice?
I'm sure. If you have money.
Wow, we're really talking about classism.
Yes.
I am tired.
So
I am ready to
so that determines value.
Class determines value. You just called me a Marxist.
No, money.
Money determines value? Again, you just called me a Marxist. Of course not.
I called you a Marxist, you're not?
You called me a Marxist humanitarian existentialist, I believe.
Oh boy, explain that to me, I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
Okay, David is, should I say principal?
You
David
can say
Jones.
principal something,
Yes.
but
You made a comment about Madelynn, who was here, the other student.
well, I
And-
can say that about this one.
Okay. Well, what is their political, the description of their political position?
You mean a Marxist existentialist?
Yes, Marxist existentialist. I think really.
This one is
it's-
what would we call this? You're along that line, right? Humanitarian, added in there.
Okay. Is Madelynn just not humanitarian?
No, humanity she does not believe in. I believe that you believe in humanity, right?
Perhaps.
Of course, I stretched the meaning of humanitarian.
I did say some very cheesy things, so along the lines of the spirit of brotherhood.
Yes, the spirit of brotherhood.
Not motherhood.
No, it's in the
It's the
Declaration
joke,
of Human Rights.
The Declaration of
Two,
Human Rights.
two, I'm hearing you, brotherhood.
No, it's the first article
Yeah,
of the
it's a
Declaration
funny
of Human
thing.
Rights.
I know,
The
but
spirit of brotherhood.
let's, oh,
We
yes,
actually
brother.
talked about the
Yes,
gender
brother.
spectrum.
Yes, brother.
Yes. No.
That's the primary sex, right?
We talked
Gender?
about the gender spectrum,
the gender
actually,
spectrum.
so there isn't just two genders.
No binary.
We don't
Oh,
have,
no.
we don't have
There
strong.
There are two genders?
No,
How many are there?
it's a spectrum,
A spectrum.
and it's not based on your biology.
It's not based on your gender, it's not based on biology,
It is based on your dreams and nightmares.
and it's not not based on your DNA.
I am laughing
right?
and shaking this
You
way.
know,
DNA does have
It's
some.
based on your preference.
we should have had the argument about trans rights and prostitution.
Yeah.
That's another debate you should come back for.
Oh my God. Okay.
You mean men and women are not equivalent. It is determined, superiority is dependent on one's preference.
Absolutely not. Not
Subor-
superiority.
Subordinates or dominance?
You're talking about gender roles.
Oh, and that's preference. I know, I'm just trying to understand
Gender
this.
roles are enforced by society.
What I'd like to do is remind the two of you that you're female.
Very well.
Are you telling me you'd rather be male?
We did not say that.
You would be
Yeah.
female physically and male.
There's stuff in between too. You can be
Career
non-binary.
Like binary.
not
Now you're
binary.
binary.
Not
Non-binary. So binary is the genders, male and female is what we believe as binary, and non-binary suggests that there's
Analog.
stuff in between.
David,
Is
it is beyond
What
me.
happened to humanity?
David.
I'm very confused.
Yeah, I'm confused too. And okay, we can have a very interesting discussion on this subject. I love talking with these kids.
You know,
They're
I don't
fantastic.
believe anything I'm saying. I never do. We just try it on
I know.
and wear it for a little while. And if you start taking my coat on and I start taking it off and putting on yours,
That's a good idea. Coats go out of fashion quickly.
now you're worried about fashion? Is that also a choice?
I'm sure. If you have money.
Wow, we're really talking about classism.
Yes.
I am tired.
So
I
that,
am
so,
ready
so that determines value.
Class determines value. You just called me a Marxist.
No, money.
Money determines value? Again, you just called me a Marxist. Of course not.
I called you a Marxist, you're not?
You called me a Marxist humanitarian existentialist, I believe.
Oh boy, explain that to me. I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
And you seem to do well with Latinos, but Hillary Clinton, to be frank, cleaned your clock with African American voters. Is that a concern going into South Carolina where they are a majority of the Democratic electorate?
Well, it is a concern, but let's remember this. 4 or 5 weeks ago, if I was on your show, you would have noted that I was 25 points behind in the polls in Nevada. We ended up losing by 5 or 6 points. I believe we won the Latino vote, which is a huge, huge way forward for us. We did badly with the African American vote, but I think the more the African American community hears our message on a broken criminal justice system, which has more people in jail today than any other country on earth, largely African American and Latino, when they hear our message about the need for an economy that represents all of us, not just the 1%, I think you're going to see us making progress there as well.
I don't know if you heard, but earlier in the show, Hillary Clinton disputed the idea that she didn't win the Latino vote. She said that that's not according to their analysis of the numbers.
Well, that is according to, who knows, the answer is, but according to analyses that I have seen, that is the case, and nationally, it is clear that we are doing better and better with Latino voters. We started way, way down, and now we're doing much better. And look, here's the other truth. The truth is that for a campaign that started off as a fringe campaign at 3% in the polls, we have enormous momentum. You have noticed that one of the recent national polls actually had us ahead of Hillary Clinton. In state after state, her margin is narrowing. So I think people are responding to our message of a rigged economy where ordinary Americans work longer hours for lower wages, and almost all new income and wealth goes to the top 1%, a corrupt campaign finance system in which billionaires are buying elections. I think our message is resonating, and obviously the proof of that is that Hillary Clinton is more or less echoing much of what we are saying. I think that indicates the success that we are having.
For the record, sir, as you know, we never considered you a fringe candidate, but let's move on. Hillary Clinton has been referring to you as a single, you know that, sir. Hillary Clinton's been referring to you as a single issue candidate. What do you think when she says that?
I haven't the vaguest idea what she's talking about. If she thinks that income and wealth inequality and the fact that the rich get richer while everybody else gets poorer is the only issue, it's not. We're the only major country on earth that doesn't have a national health care program guaranteeing health care to all people. Talk about that. We need to have free tuition at public colleges and universities so that our kids today can do well in a global economy. We need to have the wealthiest people and largest corporations pay their fair share of taxes. We're working very hard to transform our energy system so we effectively combat climate change. We are talking about dozens of issues. I'm not quite sure where Secretary Clinton is coming from. But what I will repeat is I think we have got to address this real crisis of a corrupt campaign finance system in which billionaires and their super PACs are trying to buy elections. Now, one of the things that we're up against right now, Jake, is that Hillary Clinton's super PAC, funded by Wall Street and other powerful special interests, are going to pour a lot of money into this election against us. We rely on individual contributions, $27 apiece. So you're seeing the impact of billionaire and Wall Street super PACs on an election. That has got to change. We have to overturn this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision.
In your concession speech last night, you said, now it's on to Super Tuesday. 11 states will have Democratic contests on March 1st. Which of those states do you expect to win?
I think we are going to do well in states like Minnesota, Colorado, Massachusetts, Oklahoma. Last poll I saw had us at 80% of the vote. In Vermont, I think we're going to do well there, and I think we're going to do well in some other states as well. After that, we're going to fight hard for Michigan, Kansas. There are states out there that I think we have a real shot to win in. And by the way, Jake, as you know, and I hope many of the viewers know, these state-by-state primary and caucuses are proportional. For example, we lost in Nevada, which meant that Hillary Clinton got 19 delegates, we got 15 delegates. It's not all or nothing. But I hope that in the coming weeks, we start winning some big states and start collecting a lot of delegates.
Your brother, Larry Sanders, gave an interview to the Daily Beast this week, and he said that Bill Clinton was a, quote, dreadful president in general for poor people. Do you agree?
Look, I read that interview. My brother lives in England. He is not part of our campaign. I disagree with what he said. He speaks for himself, not for me or my campaign.
Fair enough. I disagree with my brother on a lot of things too, although I love him dearly, as I'm sure you do yours. Let's turn.
And me too. I love my brother. Yeah.
Let's turn to the Supreme Court. One possible contender.